Welcome to the podcast If Success Could Talk with nicovandevenne. In this podcast, we would talk to entrepreneurs about success, accountability, transformation, and taking action in the daily life of an entrepreneur or a business owner. Each time we will work around several questions, of which the core questions will be about success. Enjoy the new broadcast today. There we are. Okay, then I can turn off. And I don't have to read any comments because we always know what to talk about, don't we, Greet?
I'm pretty sure of that. Yeah. Not always the serious stuff.
But that's kind of our tendency, isn't it?
Yeah.
So welcome, Greet, to If Success Could Talk.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, it's just so great to see you here. We've had several conversations in the past, one-on-one. We haven't worked together yet.
Not yet.
Who knows what comes in the future?
Yeah.
But I'll just, drop in and go straight through the door and ask you the first question because that's how I love doing it. And like I said, do you have any tip for the audience from your point of, where your business is from or something else? It's all free. You can do whatever you want, but go right ahead.
Okay, I'm just gonna share a tip.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. I had my good resolution of the year was laugh out loud every day, and I must say that works pretty well. I don't think I missed a day yet, so that's nice. Cool. And so that's my tip of the day. Just laugh every day. I think it's very important. Life can be serious at moments, and our businesses can be serious at work, etc. But don't take yourself too seriously, and see to it that every day has at least one funny moment. That would be my tip to survive the real life.
That's a great tip because I've had a recent experience where I had a person who was very down, and I can't remember how we started, but at some point we started laughing with each other, and he actually instantly started feeling better. So it's one of the best solutions to get from down there to up there, I would think.
Yeah, it is because I've got a very good friend of mine, and I'm his buddy and accountability partner. Well, it started that way. He needed an accountability partner, but actually now we call every week, and it's more like having fun and talking about stupid thing. And he told me that, and he said, I'm really looking forward to these. To these calls just because we can have fun and laugh at stupid things and whatever. So because he's got a very busy business and with lots of responsibilities and a team that's not always working the way they should work, etc. So lots of stuff on his mind. So when he calls me on Friday morning, I'm there, good morning, and he's immediately happy. So why not?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find somebody like that as well.
Yeah, we should. But now, I still think that the best things to laugh with are the silly little things that you come up with by yourself. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
You use a lot of humor in your business, don't you, as well?
Yeah. For me, that's important, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. I'm thinking Buck Rogers. Sorry, it just flashed through my mind. Bit.
That's an inside joke, yeah.
But I'm talking to somebody here, and maybe the audience is saying, oh, yes, I know her, but there's a lot of people who don't know who Greet is. So introduce yourself. What do you do? Who are you? Where are you from? Go right ahead. This podcast has been supported by nicovandevenne, accountability, transformation coaching, and spiritual entrepreneurship mentor.
Who do you think you are? Anyway, I'm Greet Bunnens, and I'm not your typical business coach. I ask my colleagues, what should I name myself, my clients? And Yeah, no, business coach. Yeah, no, that's not it. And then because it's different the way you approach things, etc. So suddenly I came up with the term, not your typical business coach. But anyway, what I do is indeed I will help you grow as a person and grow as with your company. So business coaching is the thing that I do. However, I do not do it. Like many others do. I've been there, seen that, done that, and I've seen that it does not always work. It might work, the best practices, etc., in marketing and sales, etc., might work for 70% of the audience, which is nice. But what about the 30% where it does not work? And I like focusing on these people and approaching things very individually and in a different matter. Sometimes it's best practices, but it's not always the case. So so that's in a couple of words what I do professionally. And for the rest, I've got a wonderful husband. We've been together for 25 years already. I've got 2 dogs, Bob and Lou, and I like a good conversation, a good book, and a good glass of wine.
Oh, the last one. I'm very, very interested in that one. Might be a little early today, but
yeah. And it's Monday, so let's keep the alcohol away for today.
I was thinking of a sentence: "Be exceptionally unique." That's a sentence that I just came up with. One of the things that I remember as one of your major questions that you ask a lot of people, and I enjoy it each time when you do ask the question. Please ask the question.
Is that so?
Yes, I love it each time it comes out of there. It's just so wonderful. I've noticed so many people reacting very strangely if I use that question as well. Like I told you before, you should trademark it. It's a really cool question. And it's so simple as well. Where did that come from? Do you remember, or is it just something that came up at some point?
I think it just came up, really. I've always been a very curious person, and I always tend to ask a lot of questions. Like when people say something, I always have the tendency to ask, well, is that right? Why do people say that? And then I had the tendency to ask, is that so? In Dutch, it's is that so? But it's the way you pronounce it is really important. So is that so? Is like, okay, that's nice. Is that so? Is that so? But if you say, is that so? It's more like in English, is that so? There's this connotation like, what are you saying? This can't be true. But no, it came up, I think, when I was still working with my colleague back in the days of the Business Boost event. And I had the tendency to ask that question a lot. It must have been annoying for her, but and maybe for some clients. But I think it's important that we ask ourselves a lot of questions, and that we do not just accept things just at face value. Maybe we should. Maybe life would be easier, but I do not have that tendency.
I think that's one of the reasons why we communicate on at some points. We don't have a regular communication, but we all both ask a lot of questions. And I have this wonderful book, The Great Book of Questions, and I've started collecting. So in the back you have a link to a certain website where you have for each category, and then leadership, and I think it's goal setting and stuff like that. You have these separate questions, and it's so intriguing when you start using these questions on yourself or on your own business. Of course, you get annoyed with yourself, of course. Then, like, why did I ask that question? But it's wonderful to hear that also, we do ask a lot of questions, but I hear a lot of people start to ask, question everything is one of the sentences I used a long time back. But you see a lot of people asking those more profound questions. Is this something that you use, continuously in your one-on-one business as well, to go really deep into your customer's story, or how do you use it during the day?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as I have a very personal approach, especially, of course, when I work one-on-one with my customers, I like to dive deeper. But it also depends on the person, of course. You have to respect other people's boundaries. But for instance, when we are working on the marketing message, let's not call it a pitch, but the marketing message, your story that you want to bring forward, and the story that you use in order to stand out from the crowd, and in order to, the message you want to bring across. I always say it's a little bit like our TED Talk. So imagine that you do a TED Talk. How would you bring across your message in order for your audience to understand what your viewpoint is, or view is, or mission is, or vision is? And how can you bring them along so that they understand it and that they feel like working with you, or buying from you, or joining the community, or joining even the movement? You need a strong message for that. And I always ask people to do it themselves, but by asking different questions, they come up with better stories. They come up with a better TED Talk than if I would just give them, okay, this is a template and just fill it out. That's nice, but then when you go deeper and deeper and deeper, you bring out these different stories. And it's not always the big stories. It's often the little stories that can make a difference in the TED Talk or in the message. Yeah. So that's just an example where I use the questions. Yeah.
Well, it's great when I hear you say stories. Recently, I've started using that in one of my network events, the next level at B2B, where we said, don't pitch, tell us a story. Tell us, what did you do with your customer, or what experience do you have in blah, 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 blah. It's a lot more fun to hear stories than, the 15-second pitch, or the 1 minute pitch that, sometimes we do at BNI or whatever organization that, and I remember the first moment somebody told me that might be a better idea, when they said, how many times in the recent months have you been standing in an elevator with a CEO that you could do your pitch? And I was like, yeah, that's actually, that's really true, because we have a lot of conversations, well, now, especially online, but I think there's it's not going to be that long, but we're going to start meeting each other offline, and then, putting down a really short pitch is just, it's going to end the conversation really quickly, I think.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing, but anyway, I taught people that. I mean, I said, a good pitch is A plus B plus C. I help A with B in order to C. So use that pitch, and then and nowadays I say, it can be a good template again, but like everything, templates is good to start somewhere if you're really new at something, and then you should could fill out a template, but then you throw it away as fast as possible and move it around and make it your own thing.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, and indeed, the pitches. I mean, so you're networking. But what do you do? Oh, I help entrepreneurs grow their business thanks to personal branding.
Snore.
Yeah.
So, to my mind, everybody's successful, and I've been following you for, I think, maybe 2 years now, something like that, because before I wasn't really occupied with looking at business coaches and stuff like that, even though I was, striving to be one. And sometimes I hope I still am. But so success, what does that mean to you?
This podcast has been supported by nicovandevenne, accountability, transformation coaching, and spiritual entrepreneurship mentor.
Yeah, it's something very personal, really. I've been asked that question by Tom and Tim from the Tim Tom podcast too. For me, it's very personal. For me, success is it's like it's not the same as happiness, but it's like a little bit being able to do. For me, that's my goal: being able to do the things that I want to do, where I want to do them, with the people I want to do them, the way I want to do them. So it's really having that total freedom, and if you're able to achieve that, for me, then you're successful. But that's a vast definition of success. But for me, it's really, if I would say, when do I feel successful? That's when do I feel accomplished? That's when I'm able really to do the things I like to do, the way I like to do them, with and where, etc. Yeah, and that makes me happy too. So for me, there is a strong bond between happiness and success.
Okay, great, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about things you like to do. Like I said, I follow you for a while, and recently you've actually been teaching people to do what we're doing right now. So like podcasting.
Yeah.
Okay, I do it live in the group and stuff, but in the end, this turns out to be a podcast. So how's that for you? Because it does also mean that you're creating success for other people. What does that kind of fill in for you?
Yeah, for me, my mission is and my why is to help people grow so they don't have to be small again. That's kind of my why, and helping them in any way possible if they want my help, of course. And it's particularly focused on entrepreneurs when I look at it business-wise. So helping entrepreneurs share their grow. Everybody has a lot of potential, and use that potential and find the greatness in themselves and do something with that. Sharing their voice, their message, and doing something important in life. And important doesn't mean that you have to do the big things, but that's something that leave a legacy or do something that's more important than just earning money. So that's a little bit my view on things. And sharing the message, sharing your voice is a way to approach things. And why not via podcasting? Because podcasting is a great way to share your message, but also the message of others. So that's what we are doing today. Indeed. And I started podcasting a long time ago, but I think last year, maybe since the Corona times here in Belgium, finally it's become a little bit more successful or more known or whatever. So many entrepreneurs are now looking to start their own podcast, and not only entrepreneurs, lots of people are looking to start their own podcast. So. And I said, together with my best friend, actually, we said, yeah, why not start a podcast masterclass? Actually, we wanted to give a sales training, a soulful sales training, but we wanted to do that face-to-face, live. And that was not possible during the Corona times. And we wanted to do something else. And we were just sitting together. And so why not a podcasting masterclass? Because he's a podcaster, I'm podcasting. So why not do that? And in that way, we can also help other. I think that 90% of the population that follow this masterclass are entrepreneurs. So let's help them share their voice, share their message. So yeah, indeed.
It's a great thing you're doing, because I've heard a lot of feedback from outside who've joined the masterclass, and listeners, really, if you want to go in there and follow that one, I would advise it. I've not followed anybody specific. I've just done my thing because I thought, I'd love to talk to people, so why not just do it? And I think at this point, it's my third launch of a podcast. So my first one was with Wim Honorel, who's being interviewed in When to Become with Nathalie. So those are we did it with Life Boosters Talk, but we did 2 or 3 episodes. And at that time, it was, I think, just before Corona. So it kind of dropped off because the communication went. We're still friends and everything, but it's just something that you launch, and sometimes you just can't push through, and then it comes out to a different way. But it's fun to do it. Indeed, I love it. Yeah. So this is a big question. It's going to be a quick question or a big question, because I've had answers that I did not expect. But what brought you to this point where you are right now?
Oh, it's been quite a journey. That's your question. What kind of journey and what brought you here? Yeah, it's been quite a journey, I must say. My upbringing was not always that easy. And that made me into somebody who was very negative. I've already explained that in some of my podcasts or blogs or whatever. So I was a very negative person with a low self-esteem. I always thought of myself like very ugly, and I was always complaining and blaming and being that negative person in life. But that also meant that I saw life in a negative way. I had a negative perception of life and perspective on life. And so several things happened at a certain moment in my life, all around the same period, negative stuff. And but the most important, no, it's not the most important, but the one I always tell is the fight I had with my father and my sister, who were the people I loved the most back then, and still do. Lieven and my husband now too, but back then it was the people I loved the most, and we had a big fight. I can't remember about what, and they both told me that I was being a real pain in the ass. I mean, they didn't say it like that, but it was really very it was a real confrontation, the mirror. And they said, "You're always complaining, you're always being negative." And the thing is, I wasn't even aware of that. And for me, that was a big turning point in my life. And then I must have been, I think, 18 or something. And that was, for me, the moment, together with a couple of other negative moments, and that I said, okay, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be a negative person. I don't want to attract negative people or situations in my life. I don't want to be a victim. I want to be somebody cheerful and happy and positive. And that moment, I really decided to focus on a positive mindset and being happy in life and looking at life from a different perspective, a positive one. And that's been my journey ever since, being very growing as a person, personal development, growing, being positive, helping other people look at things in a more positive way. I think that's also why I asked that question, is that so? When people are I can't do that, is that so? Maybe you can't do it yet. And it's really, that's been my journey, changing my mindset, my negative mindset, to a positive mindset, growing as a person, and helping others along the way to achieve that too. And it is possible. I choose happiness. I mean, for me, happiness is not just a coincidence. It's not something in the future. For me, it's today, and I choose happiness, and everybody can do that. So that's been my journey, really. Doesn't mean that it's always been like roses and everything was beautiful. I've had my difficult moments too, of course, but everything is also a lesson, and sometimes you take a difficult road where it could have maybe have been much easier, but these difficult roads teach you a lot, and I'm always very, very grateful for all the lessons that I got to learn, really. So that's been my journey up to now. So, and I'm not gonna rest until everybody's happy.
You're conquering the world with happiness.
Yeah, why not? I know that for lots of people, happiness is, but it's changing, of course, but happiness is like some fluffy la la land stuff, and it doesn't belong in the business world. But how beautiful is it when every entrepreneur, when every business owner, but also the people in the companies are happy? Life would be so much greater if more people were happy and chose really happiness every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a nice mission right there. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, it's beautiful to hear your story, indeed. Now, if you would meet yourself 10 years younger, so you could, I love Back to the Future, so just let us jump into the
The
DeLorean,
DeLorean,
hit the 88 miles an hour and flash back 10 years. What would you tell yourself?
Nothing. Well, yeah, I would just say, trust your gut, trust your heart, and just continue on your path. You're beautiful, and you're a great person, and I love you, and just go on. Just do your thing, and don't bother or worry about what other people will think, etc. Just follow your heart and your gut, and you'll get there. I think that would be the advice, and actually it's an advice that I would give everybody. Just follow your heart and your gut. I mean, and don't think about, oh, that person might say this, or what will the Joneses do or say, whatever. It's not important. It's really listening to yourself, really, and doing the things that you think or feel are the things that you should do.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
That's
I wouldn't say, you shouldn't have done that, or you should do this differently, etc. Because I wouldn't change anything in life, really. So that's another question that somebody asked. Can't remember who, and I asked it also in my community. If you could go back in life, wherever, would you change anything? And I don't think I would, really. That does not mean that everything was great, not at all. But everything was a good lesson. So that's again what I was saying. Everything is a lesson. So I don't think I would change anything, even though I would have preferred not have been to that party or have done that or whatever. But it's always been a lesson, and that made me the person I am today. And I must say that I am proud of the person I am today, because it took me one hell of a time and effort and to become that person, me.
It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful to hear that, because what you're saying really resonates. There's a lot of downfall that you have in your life, really shitty moments, we're going to say the word, but even those moments can be great. They can really give you an unbelievable present. It always comes back when I say present. I always go flashback to Kung Fu. The what is it called? Kung Fu Panda. The day is a present. Can't remember exactly how it went, but it's always coming back there. But indeed, it's something that you evolve through what you experience in life. So if you would take away a little thing, might completely shift you over into a different story. But it's wonderful how you explain it that way. I love it.
But it's like you were saying, even the shitty moments. But I always say, shit makes you grow. Shit makes you grow. So enjoy the shit. Let's enjoy the shit.
Oh, that might be a new statement right there.
Yeah. But I've got several of them, and then I've even thought of making my T-shirts. So I'm finally making my T-shirts with the quotes on. Is that so? Is that so? Yeah. So let's enjoy the shit. I've been thinking, should I make a T-shirt with that too? But if you don't get the picture, if you don't understand what it is, what I mean by that, then maybe it's just some then it's not a really how do you say that, decent thing to say or something. So I'm not sure. We'll see what happens.
Well, I'm getting a picture of the T-shirt right now. So like, shit. But then, the emoji, the shit emoji, which luck. It doesn't really mean, the crap. But then a little flower coming out or something.
Yeah. Maybe
you can have that if you want. Go right ahead. Now, if you you've had an amazing life already. You're very successful in what you do. You love doing. You're happy. Say, for instance, that at some point in the future, I'm not going to say near future, but in the future, the life that you have now is going to end, for everybody, basically. But if there is a mandatory taking everything with you and you can leave one thing behind, what would that be for you?
So I leave something behind for
only one thing that you've written books or done whatever in your life, and there's only one thing that you can leave behind. All the rest you have to take with you. Just one thing. What would that be?
Okay, so everything I take with me and nobody can see it, read it, whatever. So that's it. And the thing that I leave behind is kind of the legacy then.
Yes. Yes.
So? Yes. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, that's a good one. What would I leave behind? I don't know, really. What would I leave behind? I don't know. What would you leave behind?
Well, this time I'm asking the question. So
yeah. But I don't know. What could I leave behind? Is there something I would leave behind? I don't know, really. So what do other people say? Give me some inspiration there.
Well, somebody might say, their children, or somebody else might say that one quote like you have. Other people might say, well, the book I wrote says everything. So if I leave that behind, it's going to be in there anyway. Something like that might be one of the answers.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe then my quote is that. So because it's or choose happiness, but that's not my quote. But it's really, is that so? It really means keep on asking the questions and everything. I mean, not always in a critical way, but also in a way to understand things, to grow and also when you're not feeling well or when you have a low self-esteem or whatever, and then you're thinking to yourself, oh, I'm not good at that, or I'm getting too many wrinkles, or I'm too fat or whatever. Just ask that question: is that so? And are you sure?
Yeah, I wonder, too many wrinkles, and you're saying is that so? Yes, it is.
Yeah, me too. What is it? Yeah, but is it a bad thing? I remember that I once had a conversation with my sister, whom I love a lot. And anyway, we were talking about growing old, and I said to her, when I grow old, I want to be that extravagant, old, wise person. So with a lot of humor. So that's me. So a little bit extravagant, not too mainstream, wise and funny. And she said, oh, I want to grow older and I want to be beautiful. And I said, no, that's not it. For me, that's not important because we grow older and the beauty is not something exterior. And I think that if you can surround yourself with funny, wise, extravagant people, how great is that? I prefer those people over the beautiful, empty people. Well, everybody has talents and has potential, etc. But if I can choose, give me some wise, crazy old woman
sitting by the fireplace in my old days.
Yeah. Great story. Yeah, and then you expect a story, and she starts a story, and you think, oh my God, this is going to be boring. But then suddenly, bam, there's something funny, and there is something interesting that she says. That's me when I grow old.
I can see it happening right now.
Yeah.
Well, great. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I have one more question for you.
Yeah, tell me.
Where can people find you, and how easily can they find you?
Well, it's the fact that there's only one great Bunnens in the whole wide world is a good thing. So it is not possible to not find me, especially because I'm very visible, personal branding and all. But the easiest way is maybe the website, greetbunnens.be. And of course, all the social media platforms, YouTube and the podcast platforms, etc. But if you just go to my website, there you find all the links. So that's the easiest one.
Super. Great having you. Thank you very much. And thank you for being so inspiring again.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, listeners. And we'll hear or see maybe each other in the next episode. Have a great one.
Thank you for listening to this new broadcast of If Success Could Talk. If you would like to keep following us, check out iTunes and Spotify. You can find us on both channels. If you would like to take part in one of the conversations on If Success Could Talk, feel free to contact me on nico@phoenixcoaching.com. You can also find me on www.phoenixcoaching.com.